From Nebraska Public Media, this is Curious Nebraska, a quest to uncover what makes Nebraska, Nebraska.
It's a quiet afternoon at Evelyn Sharp Field. There's a propeller plane on the ground, but otherwise there's no traffic on the runways. And just across the river from here is where a teenaged Evelyn Sharp learned to fly in the 1930s.
We've got the propeller from her first airplane. We've got the tower that they put up when she became an airmail pilot.
That's Stephen Baker. We're at the Valley County Historical Society located in Ord, a community that supported Evelyn during the Depression times.
The town pretty much took her under their wing, so to speak. They bought her first airplane.
The town raised the money for a down payment on a plane for Evelyn, who at only 17 had already excelled at flying.
Maybe if she hadn't died during the war, maybe it wouldn't have made such an impression, but I talked to so many of the young pilots that had her as an instructor. Stories were wonderful.
Diane Ruth Armour Bartles is a pilot too.
When I flew into Ord in 1973, here was this table of memorabilia about Evelyn Sharp.
Her life took a turn that day when Dr. Glenn Abel approached her. It just so happened he'd been instrumental in securing Evelyn's first airplane.
He said, "Do you know Evie?" I said, "No, but I really am interested."
He also asked Diane to write Evelyn's biography, which she did in Sharpie, the life story of Evelyn Sharp, Nebraska's aviatrix. The book details Evelyn's birth and adoption in Montana and her move to Nebraska. She was a standout athlete and was involved in music and theater at Ord High. And her parents owned a boarding house where, curiously, a flight instructor took a room.
One night, Evelyn overhears a conversation. Jack Jeffrey, the instructor, is saying, "I'm not paying enough to pay my room and board. How would it be if I gave your daughter free flying lessons?"
Evelyn immediately took to aviation and went on barnstorming trips, always with her beloved dog Scotty. She took people for rides and eventually flew airmail for the U.S. Postal Service. Meanwhile, she racked up many firsts in her field.
She was publicized as being the youngest person at that time to have a private pilot certificate. And then when she earned her commercial transport certificate, it was written that she was the youngest in the country.
At 20, Evelyn was one of only 10 American women teaching flying. After working in South Dakota and California, she joined the Women's Auxiliary Ferrying Squadron, which later became the Women Air Force Service Pilots, or WASPs. Even considering all of her accomplishments, she could still be a typical 20-something.
Evelyn was big on having a suntan. So her commanding officer, she had to tell Evelyn to make sure that she kept her shirt on because Evelyn was up there by herself, so what did she care?
At the time, it wasn't well publicized how much the WASP program was contributing to the war effort. Regardless, they were under more scrutiny than the men doing similar work, and unwarranted criticism picked up.
Congress took up their position that the women pilots should be disbanded.
The WASP program ended in December 1944, but not before Evelyn's plane went down in Pennsylvania while she was on a cross-country ferrying trip. She did not survive the crash.
And there are still flowers left on the grave all the time. To be able to recognize somebody from our history that made a difference, literally gave her life for her country.
Evelyn Sharp, may you continue to fly high. I'm Andy Herman for Curious Nebraska.